Hey, good evening, YouTubers. This is your coach, AJ, and you're watching another Living Fully Fit video. And so we're going to talk about spiritual fitness and the aspect of the entire Living Fully Fit idea. And so here's the thing is we look at, again, physical fitness and emotional fitness and mental fitness. These things are great and all, but at the core and the center of it all is spiritual fitness. If you think about spirituality, there are some great benefits to having a spiritual life, to having that prayer time, that meditation time, that focus. What that does for our lives, it helps kind of alleviate some of that stress, that emotional tension. It gives us a little bit more balance, and it gives us a purpose and a grander purpose in the whole scheme of things of our life. And so before we can get into our mind and our physical nature and everything else, the idea of spirituality at its core is what we're all about. It was once said that no matter what, we all worship something or someone. Whether we worship success or we worship God or we worship whatever it is, we worship something. Now, I'm not talking about worship necessarily. I'm talking about spirituality, what that means, about that focus of why you are here and what your purpose is. Because when we start honing in on that, then everything else kind of comes into play. C.S. Lewis, for most of his life, was an atheist. So he believed in nothing. He didn't believe in God. And so he wanted to prove that God didn't exist. So in his search and research that God didn't exist, he ended up actually finding God. And so the beautiful story of that is, a lot of times we're looking for something to fill in that void of our lives, to fill in that hole that we can't explain what's missing, why we can't connect all the other dots in our lives, why we can't connect things with the physical and the emotional and the mental and the relational, why these things keep falling apart. It's because in our center there's something still missing, and that's our spiritual walk. And so think about this as you're looking at your life and you're looking at fitness as a whole, is you have to ask yourself, what are you looking for? Whom are you trying to serve? What do you worship? Why do you worship? Why do you think the way you think? Why do you believe in the way you believe? Do you believe because you were raised that way? Or is it something that you have strong conviction in? Because that's the difference there. Is like, if you're a Christian or a Buddhist or atheist, why? Are you that way because that is the way you were raised and the way you were conditioned? Or is it something you're passionate about? If it's something you're passionate about, it's one thing. But I think a lot of times we derive our faith and our spirituality based off of what our parents conditioned us to believe or how we were raised or in our communities. And I'm not saying those are necessarily bad things, but you have to have your own convictions. So I'm a Christian and I love God and I believe in Jesus, but it wasn't my family necessarily that conditioned me to believe these things and to have the convictions I have. Is me digging in my own life and doing my own research, and have my own doubts and have my own questions that got me to think about what I believe and why I believe it. And as I started digging deeper into that, that's where God met me, and I met God for the first time. It took me a while to get to that point. I got quote-unquote saved at a young age, but it didn't really hit me until I was more of a young adult of why I believed in what I believed in and what that meant to me. And as I started learning and grasping my own idea of faith and God, then God started meeting me where I was instead of me meeting him where he was. If that makes sense. Because if you look at an example of Jesus, for instance, Jesus did not once stand on the temple steps and expect followers to come to him. He went down into the alleyways, into the farms, into the community, and met people where they were at. And that's a great analogy. God meets us where we're at in our lives. And so think about that. But as you start digging deeper about what you believe in, you start finding a purpose and a reason of why you're here. And then you start living for that purpose. it's a great verse. Sometimes it's taken out of context, but I do believe this verse has a very solid structure. It's in Jeremiah 29:11. It's a very overly quoted verse. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, the plans for you to prosper, not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future. And the biggest part there is, I know the plans I have for you. And that's the thing, is God has a plan for us and a purpose. And a lot of times we don't see that because we're focused on ourselves, we're focused on other things, we're distracted. And so just think of this as you live your life, as you look at what fitness is, as you're looking at all these different aspects we're going to be talking about for a while now. Think about what your purpose is. Once you figure that purpose, you'll have an anchor in your life. You'll have a more filled center, and everything else will start to connect. The physical, the mental, the relational, the emotional will all connect to the spiritual as well. They'll all become that kind of the glue, and you'll find true balance and focus and reality in that. And once you do, you'll start seeing more positivity in your life. You'll see more, again, focus in your life. And so my challenge for you, as you're thinking about the spiritual side of things, what does that mean to you? Why do you believe in what you believe in? In what you believe in, do you help others with that? Is it conducive to the human condition and the fact that you're bringing light into someone's life? Because if you believe that in something so strongly that you condemn others, that's not the way Jesus had it at all. If I recall, Jesus didn't condemn really anybody. He condemned sin, but people in general, not really. If you really look at Jesus, not once did he point the finger. He pointed out what was wrong with the human condition, and people naturally, because of how he treated them with love, recognize that within themselves. And so think about that. So a few steps. I'm going to give 3 little steps here. They're going to help you with this idea of spiritual fitness. 1, ask yourself, what do I believe? Once you figure that out, then you can start kind of digging a little deeper. 2, ask yourself, why do I believe? What do I believe and why do I believe? Again, are you believing just because that's how you were raised? Then it's probably time to reevaluate that. And then 3, how do my beliefs impact myself and others? In a positive way, in a healthy way. Again, it's about that health, right? Fitness. You think of fitness, you think of health, you think of good, you think of growing. So just, like I said, it's going to be a short video tonight. Just something to think about as you're living your day-to-day life, as we're getting ready for the weekend here coming up soon, as some of you guys getting ready for church on Sunday or, temple on Saturday or whatever you believe. Again, I'm going to share my faith and my walk, and you can take that or leave that, and I'm not going to ram it down your throat or make you feel bad that you don't believe the way I believe at all. I'm just going to love you, and hopefully you get something out of tonight's little talk in this video here, and hopefully this can help you or help someone else who's struggling with their purpose and their direction and their spiritual walk and their spiritual fitness. So hope you enjoyed. Have a great night. Some really good videos coming up this weekend. I was talking to my daughter tonight, and we're about to do some fun videos that she suggested for the spiritual fitness. I think it's going to be fun and engaging, and you'll get to experience my daughter's creativity as well. So hope you enjoy. Have a great night. And again, this is AJ, your Living Fully Fit coach. Subscribe down below and share this with someone else. Again, trying to get some support out there and trying to get these videos out there to help people who need to watch these videos. But anyways, have a great night and see you soon.